Hey everyone, Mike Mello here from Preferred Real Estate Brokers. I'm here with Jose Fleming, who is the managing broker here. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what to expect your first year in real estate. It's a question that we get asked quite often. So the first question I'm going to ask Jose is when he interviews new agents, what are some of the traits that you look for in those new agents?
A good question. Usually when I'm interviewing somebody, I look to see if they have good people skills. In this business, you have to be likable first and foremost, and you have to be able to talk to complete and total strangers in order to do this job. And on top of that, I look to see if they're motivated by an income. We're in a commission-based business, so in order to make it in this business, you have to be motivated by making a dollar. So the only way to do that is to go out there, make the sales, make the relationships, talk to people, because you know eventually it's going to lead to a commission. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's going to take in order to be successful in sales.
All right, great. And being that you're talking about commission, one of the biggest questions that I hear, and I'm sure you hear too, is what can someone expect to make their first year in real estate? So, what's your experience in that?
Generally, when you come into real estate, you're probably going to be looking at anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 your first year. It's not what a lot of people would expect coming into sales and real estate, but realistically, if you can close anywhere from 4 to 5 transactions in your first year, you're doing pretty decent on your first year round.
All right, is that do the amount of commissions vary for the first year?
Yes, they do vary widely. It just depends on the sales price of the home because you're based on commission and it's a percentage. So based on the percentage of the sale is what you'll earn off of your commission. So the sales price will dictate how much income you earn. So you definitely want to determine what farm area you're going to work and what your price range is going to be. And that in whole will dictate what your bottom line is going to be as far as your annual income.
Yeah, and I've seen people make nothing their first year, and I've seen people make well into the six figures their first year. So it does vary, and I think we'll talk a little bit about the traits of success or the traits that when people struggle here in just a minute. So,
Sure.
what are some of the costs associated with the first year of in the business, being in the business?
Yeah, so generally the first thing somebody has to do is go get their real estate license. On average, to get your real estate license, it's anywhere from $300 to $400 to take a real estate class. After you take your 63 hours required in-class education and you pass your class exam, you then have to take your state exam, and it's $45 to take your state exam. Once you pass your state exam, you then hang your license with a broker, and that broker, if they're registered with the Board of Realtors, then you will also have to be a registered member of the Board of Realtors. In all, to be a member of the Board of Realtors, a member of the MLS, so you can search for properties online and have access to homes. Generally, it's going to run close to about $1,000, a little bit, $1,000 and change. So that's kind of what you can expect. So I'd say $1,500 out of pocket to get into the business.
Great. All right. So earlier we were talking about the big variation in commissions that people make. Based on your experience, you're a coach at a major brokerage for a long time, and now you own your own brokerage. What are some of the traits that you find from the agents that are very successful, like agents that make over $100,000 their first year? Do they share any common traits?
Yes, they're very tenacious. They're go-getters. They're just kind of like, they come to me and say, Jose, tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. I need to make money because I have no other source of income. I've saved some money and I'm going to run out of money pretty soon. So I need to know what is it that I need to do in order to be successful. So I give them a task, small oriented task, step 1, step 2, step 3, and they just follow the procedure and they go right for it. And typically that's what it takes.
Client call right now.
That's fine. Excellent.
Sorry about
It's a
that.
$1 million sale.
Yeah,
it happens.
I know.
You want to get that? Might be important.
No, it's okay. I'll call back.
No problem.
All right. So we talked about the traits of people that are successful. Can you tell me a little bit about traits of agents that struggle in the business?
Yes, these are the type of people that come in. They sit in front of me. They tell me, "Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm so ambitious. I'm ready to hit the ground running." They'll show up for a few classes, and then all of a sudden they start to lose a little steam. They didn't realize it was going to take as much work. They didn't realize that they're going to have to go out, hit the pavement, do some open houses, knock on some doors, like the real root of the work, like what sales is really about. They just figured it would kind of like, hey, I got my license, and the deals will just fall into my lap miraculously, or my friends and family are just going to start handing me business.
They watch those shows on TV and they think that that's as easy as those shows on TV,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
House Hunters and
it's
stuff
not
like
million
that.
dollar listing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You're not going to go and sell a house and then all of a sudden you make $10,000, $12,000. And you're like, well, that was simple. And remember, those are 30-minute shows, 1 hour shows. A transaction doesn't transpire in an hour. It's usually 30 to 60 days before you see a paycheck. So, and the real side of things are you always have to keep something in your pipeline. You always have to be working. You always have to be looking for the next buyer, the next seller. You have to be networking yourself. You have to be shaking hands. You have to be telling people what it is that you do and how you can help them. We're in a professional business here, and you have to act that way at all times and realize that there are people out there that do need your help. They do need your expertise and your help and your services. So that's ultimately what it's going to take.
Great. One last question is, being in the business for a while, what's the one bit of advice that you give a new agent, if you're able to give that one piece of advice? What's the most important advice?
Most important advice about this business is once you figure out what works for you, who you are, what your niche is, um, how you tick as an individual, then you can really focus your business on that particular niche, or that personal experience that you have that stands you apart from everybody else, and that's how you target your business or your consumer base. Once you do that, you've got to stick with it. A lot of agents, what I see is I call the pinball or the ping pong effect. They'll try a source of business. They're like, I'm going to do open houses, or I'm going to focus on FISBOs, and they'll try it for a month or two. They don't get the results they want, and then they shift to another source of business. Well, you know what? FISBOs didn't work for me. I tried it for a couple months, didn't get those results. So now I'm going to try to target expireds. And then they try expireds for 3 months. It really doesn't turn out the way they want, and then they shift to something else. You've got to pick something, you've got to be committed to it, and you've got to stick with it long term in order to get those results. Results don't happen overnight, and the fact of the matter is you just have to stay persistent, you have to stay on the cause, and you have to go at it over and over and over again. Typically, not until 90 days of doing something consistently will you start to see your first yield or see your first results. Just like you,
Yeah.
what you particularly, you focus on social media.
Uh-huh.
And when we first started and kind of working out a plan for you, how long did it take you with your social media before you actually saw a sale?
I was actually just going to mention that, and it was 6 months. I spent quite a bit of advertising dollars and also time on social media, and it wasn't until 6 months till I got my first lead from social media, or first sale, I should say, from social media. But since then, it's just absolutely avalanche. It's like people that first started liking my pages after about a month of me having a page. They might not necessarily buy a house that month, but maybe 8 months later, they're contacting me. But if I given up on it a month or 2 months into it, I wouldn't have had as much success as I did in my first year. So that first 6 months didn't get much. That second 6 months got quite a bit. So very good advice. Thank you, Jose, for your time.
Well, you're welcome.
And if any of you are out there living in the Central Florida area and thinking about real estate, make sure you give us a call or contact us here at Preferred Real Estate Brokers. We'll be happy to talk to you about real estate. Any existing agent out there who's looking for a really good coach, Jose coached me. I became very successful because of Jose, and maybe want to talk to Jose about switching over brokerages. Well, give us a call too. So thank you all for your time, and have a great day.
Sounds good. I'd love to meet you.